We are grateful to speakers for putting their best foot forward in making this event a success. Today's first guest speaker is an energetic personality and a versatile performer in cybersecurity domain. She's none other than Miss Vandana Verma. She is a security solutions architect at SNYK. She's a vice chair of the OWASP Global Board of Directors. She leads diversity initiatives like InfosecGirls and OWSec. She's also the founder of InfosecKids. She has also been speaker trainer at various public events including Global OWASP AppSec events, BlackHat events to regional events like BSides events in India. She has been the recipient of multiple prestigious awards like one of the top 50 resilient CISOs and InfoSec leaders by Dynamic CISO. Cybersecurity Women of the Year Award 2020 by Cybersec Awards, and I can go on and on. But let me hurry up and bring her on stage, and she's here to speak on developer-friendly DevSecOps. And over to you, Ms. Vandana Verma.
Thank you so much, Somi, for the kind introduction.
Thank you.
I'm really glad to be part of it and contribute in any way possible.
Sure. So we can't see you, ma'am.
I think there is some issue because I'm outside due to some reasons, personal reasons, and I didn't want to miss this opportunity, so I thought I will join it from wherever I could.
Sure. That's not a problem. We can adjust with that. Thank you for joining us. Anyway. Yeah.
Thank you
so
much.
I'll leave the stage. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I'm just going to share my screen, and you just confirm before leaving that if it's working fine or not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll take the stage now.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So me has mostly mentioned things about me, that I'm a security advocate at Snyk, where I take care of security relations for the whole APJ region, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, India, China, and Singapore. And apart from that, I root for pro bono work. And most of you know me from OWASP, for OWASP, that I am very heavily involved in OWASP. So I'm one of the global board of directors at OWASP. And alongside, I am leading 2 projects there. I'm chapter leader for local region, which is Bangalore. I also lead certain initiatives which bring diversity in InfoSec diversity, InfoSec kids, InfoSec girls. Moving on to the topic wherein we're going to be talking about DevSecOps. But before DevSecOps, we need to understand what and how it all started. And as per my understanding, there are a lot of students, there are a lot of people who are new to this domain. So I'm going to go basic, and then we'll go ahead and start talking about few the technical stuff around it. So how it all started traditionally, when we started working on this application security space or DevSecOps space, we were talking about the traditional models, like waterfall models, wherein everything was in a phase. It used to start with requirements gathering, like client comes and says that I have a web application which I need to build. Similarly, let's say if I say that I want to build a website, so I'll go to someone and say that, can you build my website? But then for that, I need to provide some inputs for that. So those are called requirements gathering, when people gather the requirements and then analyze that how much it is feasible, create a design document for rest of the other people to see. Because till the time we don't create a design, how can we develop it? And during the design phase itself, people decide, okay, these are the development languages that we want. This is how the application should look like when it's on the internet, which we call it as production. So people start the coding, and then it goes on to a phase wherein the environment is integrated. So now what that means is that the website would look like that it's on the internet, exactly same, but in the internal environment. And once it's tested and everything is done, then it goes to production. But then security came into picture, because everyone started seeing the breaches, the security issues that were coming in. Now, when the security came into picture, it came into one phase, which was after the QA. Like, not many people were doing the testing, the code reviews, the requirements testing, all of those people were not doing it. Even I'll say that when I started in this area, like long back, so that time we were just doing the testing and on the website, which was QA site, or you can say that pre-prod site, which was exactly the replica of the one that you can see on the internet. Think about Facebook, which is on the internet, but then you have an internal setup which you're testing. Okay. What was the problem in that? So there used to be bugs wherein which used to come, and then we will say, no, you cannot go live. Now, when you say you don't go live, you are supposed to get the website up tomorrow, and security is saying that no, you cannot go, and you can't go on the internet. Your business depends on it. Your so much, your stake is there. So where will be the problem? Now the problem comes, security becomes a devil. And I have been part of both the sides, so I understand that these things are not so easy. These things are not so difficult. So the main pointer comes is that we have to be very cautious that how much involvement from security comes in. Okay, was that easy? No, the breaches kept on increasing, and we started talking about a new way, from waterfall model to a way wherein we are not cleaning, just cleaning the people poop, because that used to be the thing. And we were only blaming gaming, and that's what was happening, wherein dev was blaming security, ops was blaming dev. So it was a mix of it. But then dev and ops came together, and security wanted to be there and wanted to be like this, wherein security is an integral part of it. But can we force upon security on someone? Let's say, even let's say you are in college and you are supposed to develop a project, you are supposed to write a code for a project, and suddenly you've been told that, oh, your project is good, but then security is not there, so you cannot get marks in the college, you cannot get marks for your project. Is it easy? No, it is not. If you don't get project. So here, the whole shift happened, wherein people started talking about, okay, now we need DevSecOps, DevSecOps, DevSecOps. Every organization started talking about DevSecOps. Now, when we say DevSecOps, what it means people, process, technology, all working together. We can have best of process in an organization. We can have best of technology, even the best of people. Like there are so many techies that are working together. But then if they are not working together in a way that they're sharing information, they are jointly working. That means we are not achieving the right goal. I've heard people saying that, oh, my development team has automated these things. My testing team has done this. Security team is doing amazing work in automating this thing. So those three teams are automating things. Those three teams are working, but they are working independently, but in their own silos. That is not called DevSecOps. DevSecOps is something wherein they are speaking with each other, sharing information. Now, I'll give you an example. So there was one Scrum meeting. So Scrum meetings are the meetings which are short meetings, which happens in organizations, especially. So this is a term for agile, or a methodology which is used in DevOps particularly. And when you have these Scrum meetings, short meetings, everyone comes together, share what they have done so far, where they stand, because the sprint cycles have become so small. Earlier, we used to get 2 weeks to test an application. Now there's no time for it. You need to automate, you need to do it in one day. There are organizations which are releasing multiple applications in a day. So that's so fast, like with a lightning speed. So how do you manage that? How do you do that? So for scrums, um, they were inviting us, we were there, and in one of the scrums they didn't invite security team at all, because they started feeling that security is a problem. And did we achieve the DevSecOps process or model? No, we didn't. So now there has to be a visibility that, okay, what we are trying to do, and in every phase security has to come. Now, when security has to come, there has to be a learning at each stage, not only in the end. And what are the benefits? We can observe what could what could fail, and at the same time, do we have confidence in our application, or we'll just say, oh, there is a bug that has come in, somebody has reported, and we don't know from where it will come, because there was no confidence. And now then there is a blame game. Like, we'll keep blaming the developers or security person or maybe someone else or maybe the whole leadership. Now when the Equifax breach happened, who was to be blamed? If you go back and read about Equifax breach, I don't know why, but that has stuck to me, because there were multiple instances that those attackers were in the environment for so long and nobody knew about it, because they had the best of tools, but those tools were not configured properly. They had the best of people. Even till now, they have the best of security team. They have whole revamped it. Mm, that's one good part. But then the teams were not working together, and then there were third party libraries wherein they didn't have the whole confidence in their environment. And then come compliance. Now compliance is not a checklist. It is something which we need to uh, do to make sure that our website is fine, applications are fine, softwares are fine. Now tell me one thing. You're using an app on your phone. If that has a malware installed in it, because it was written that way, so only you have that malware, or everyone in the world who's using that app has a malware? I'm sure everyone will have that because it's written in that way. Similarly, there are softwares which are written for organizations, because we all, especially the corporate people who work on the tools, they understand that if there is a tool, not just security tool, I'm talking about any tool they're working on, if that has any bad thing, any bad library, and that's vulnerable, so that means that whole software is vulnerable, even if one library is vulnerable. So for that, we need to be compliant. And if a breach happens, the organization reputation, money, everything is at stake. People would lose the trust. And that's why at each stage, from user stories to secure coding to scanning to QA to mutating, we need to have a shift left strategy wherein we are making sure that when we are building at scale, when we are building those apps so fast, we need to be very cautious about security. And security cannot be an afterthought, be it for developers, be it for testers, be it for any person. So what can we do? We need to understand security, we need to ask questions. And i'm I'm going to speak from both the sides, from developer side, from operation side, or maybe from security side. Now, why am I doing that? Because I know the problems. Developers are meant to design an app which looks good, because that's what they are doing. But then for security, they need to secure. But the end goal is to make sure that enterprise gets what they want. So, and they are secure as well. That's when the sharing and caring culture starts, which we tell our kids that we need to share and care for each other. And when we are sharing and caring, so sharing and caring is not just, oh, this is something which is coming up and we are done. No. I'll tell you an example which happened with me, wherein there was one vulnerability which was a medium level vulnerability. Now, medium level bug, it's fine, the application can go live, and it went live. So we thought, okay, we will fix it in 15 days or 20 days. There was a stipulated time. And during that time, there was one release that came in, and due to that release, the vulnerability became a critical. And by that time, we had a good relationship with the dev and ops team, the whole all the teams that were working together. So they came back and told us that there is some issue that we are seeing that could be a critical bug now, so if you can check it out. So when we started checking, we realized that it's a critical bug and we need to fix it immediately, like within 24 hours. Generally, critical bugs have only that deadline, even though people take exceptions a lot of times, or risk assessments are filled for that. So we realized that we need to immediately work on that, and we started working on that. So this was not security team who came and told that, oh, this is a critical bug. Those teams came back and told us this is the thing. And this is the power of shift left, wherein you trust each other, you share each other. Security team gets to know that what is in their environment. A lot of times people don't even get to know that what is in an environment. Think about enterprises, and they have so many applications, like thousands of applications. So they remember every application has and every application has many libraries, or so much open source code. Now, as per one of the study, on the internet, on an average, 80 to 90% of the code is open source. Now, that much open source code. So, is the open source the issue? No. I'm a huge fan of open source. We all use open source. Even my own websites are on Hugo, which is like an open source code. I shouldn't tell that, but yeah, this is the thing. We all use that. Now, when we are using all these open source platforms, open source code, that means it's for the good. And when we are using it for the good, we need to keep it up to date. So it becomes even our responsibility to enable each other, to empower each other. When we don't do that, we will never be able to achieve the whole shift left culture. And we will just be on top of the iceberg, and people will just be coming in and seeing that, oh, this is it. Okay. But what attackers will see, that there is an open source code. There are containers, there are infrastructure as a code. Now, how can I leverage it for my own attacks? Now, as I mentioned, that 80 to 90% of the code is open source, that means there are vulnerable libraries. And even if you have one library which is open source and that is vulnerable to remote code execution, you're just done. Nobody can save you on the whole world. The best of security teams, the best of companies have got breached. You must have seen breaches from the top companies. So, what could go wrong? The whole iceberg will go down. Shh, it'll melt. And now, especially when we are talking about cloud native applications. Now, for those of you who don't understand cloud native, those are the applications those are built or born in the cloud. Now, cloud is nothing but somebody else's server which we are leveraging to come up fast. In very layman terms, especially think about those startups. Startups are coming up because we have cloud, which is providing the servers early and quickly. But then when we are using cloud, it becomes a shared responsibility, wherein when we are leveraging the services in the cloud, we are keeping them up to date based on the kind of model that we pick up. And the Equifax breach, which I was telling, it is one of my favorites, which I tell because it had multiple things. They were using Apache, and everyone uses Apache. A lot of people, I should say, not everyone, but a lot of them, a lot of organizations use Apache because it's a good open source platforms to run the applications. And then, if you're using an older version, will you be breached? Absolutely. And I played around with this bug in my own testing environment, and it was actually very concerning, which is remote code execution, and you can do anything and everything. And it was spanning across multiple days, multiple weeks, wherein they were just coming up, oh, this much data lost, these many customers got impacted, and even they didn't have the whole view on that. And most application code, if it's vulnerable, even if one library, as I mentioned, it can create a big issue. And that's when we need to be more cautious. That's when we need to make sure that we all work together. Now, I'll share some pointers wherein when we are working independently, what we can do. Even though we are working independently, what we started doing is that we started involving developers, operations team, architects, project managers to what we are doing. That what security testing is all about, what vulnerabilities are all about, what bugs are all about. And at the same time, when we are working with multiple departments, assets, resources, so much working around, how do we make sure that we are interconnected? We are relying on each other and embracing the automation. When we are embracing the automation, we need to make sure that we are creating security champions. And actually, this is a talk in itself, that how to create security champions, wherein you trust each other and you understand this is one person in development team, operations team, architects team, project management team. This person has started understanding something about security, so you can make them security champion. And even a student, an intern, can be a security champion who advocates about security. And that actually comes only when we are starting to do this cross skilling, making sure development team tells, okay, this is the environment that we are using, these are the third party components that we are using. And security makes sure that they keep sharing the advisories that come in for those third party inputs. And we empower each other instead of blocking, saying, no, you can't do this. No, that cannot be the case. You have to be sure that security is an everyday process. and everyone takes the ownership. Not one person, not one team, but everyone takes the ownership. And this is a sample architecture for DevSecOps, wherein we use pre-commit hook, ID plugins, secret management, and it becomes part of the whole process when we start using all of this. And this helps in securing our applications. These are some tools of trade which I always share, created by a friend, wherein these are open source tools for threat modeling, for pre-commit hook, for software composition analysis, to so many more, to vulnerability manage. For everything, there is something. And these all can be only done when we have a culture shift, when we have uh, leadership saying that we need to be working together, and the teams say that yes, these are the things that we need. So it has to be properly cascaded, and it's a team sport. It cannot be run alone. And we need to be prepared before it rains. We can't say, oh, we don't have right practices, but we are ready, we have everything is fine, everything is going fine. No, when a breach happens, nobody can take care of it. And remember one thing, people talk about red teaming, pen testing, that can never replace, that can never be replaced. That's going to go parallelly. And we need to be sure that when we are accepting risk, we are fixing those bugs, not just keep on accepting the risks. And these are some wonderful articles that always inspire me. And dzone.com is totally amazing. You'll find a lot of articles on DevSecOps, DevOps. You can reach me anytime on my Twitter, LinkedIn. My DMs are open. My LinkedIn is there, and I can have detailed discussion around DevSecOps, what it is, how to build a whole pipeline. I have given talks. You can just go to my channel and check them out. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. This is all I had to say.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of compliments for the session. And we have another question. Want to know about IT security insurance, when this is required?
So when I talk about IT security insurance, actually it's needed for everyone. There is no place, no timing for it. Whenever you feel that okay, now you're ready to buy it, you have the money for it, you can go ahead and buy it, because you don't know when the breach will knock you, or when the malicious people will knock you. And actually, this is a very good question, because now people are addressing these concerns, which is one good part. So I would say that there is a wonderful talk by Nicole Becker. She's a director at S&P Global. She actually preaches about this cybersecurity insurance or IT security insurance. So you can just take a look at it. She talks about every aspect of it, and it's all open source that she talks about.
Hello, Vandana. This is Sushma.
Hi, Sushma.
Hi. So I am going to um, uh, probably give you one more question. And so, what DevSecOps model do you recommend for a medium-sized company with small resources?
hmm So I think, Sushma, I've answered this
You've
question.
answered this question.
Yeah,
All right,
I've
all right.
answered this question.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah. I
all right.
actually looked at the question
So,
which came in front of
all
me.
right, all right, all right. So I think we're done with the questions, question session. So thank you so much, Vandana, and for your presentation. And we loved having you here. So it was a lovely presentation, and we hope to have you in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for understanding and inviting me. It was a pleasure to speak
Yes.
here. Thank
All right.
you.
All right. All right. Thank you, Vandana.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have for everyone. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.